Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A Dream Within a Dream. It's a short poem written by Edgar Allan Poe. And this poem questions human existence and reality. This is a simple poem having two stanzas. The first stanza shows the narrator departing from his beloved, and in the second stanza, he's all alone on a shore. This poem is written by Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe was a famous American poet, short story writer, journalist, and a literary critic. Although this poem is simple, easy, and straightforward, however, its content is a little bit tricky. The title of the poem, A Dream Within a Dream, makes us think that the poem is going to be a description of a dream within a dream, but our expectation goes wrong when we find the speaker of the poem struggling to find the answer of a question whether his life is real or just an illusion. The central concern of the poem is nature of reality and how can we find that everything around us is either real or not. Okay ji, let's read the very first stanza. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. Gee, let's analyze the lines. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting you from now, thus much let me avow, you're not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. These are the opening lines of the poem, and the speaker in these 4 to 5 lines addresses someone and asks her to receive a kiss on her forehead. It is expected that the speaker talks to his beloved, and he wants to kiss her before saying goodbye. Either he is living for somewhere or his beloved is on her deathbed. As the poet is going away from his beloved, he wants to express his feelings to her before leaving, and the speaker tells her that she was never wrong to tell him that he has been living in a dream. Then the poet says, yet if hope has flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. In these lines, the speaker asks her, or we can say his beloved, what happens when the hope leaves. He asks whether it makes any difference or not. Does it actually matter when the hope leaves? The poet has become hopeless for some reason. He tells her that all his hope has flown away, and now for him it doesn't matter whether it is the daytime or the night, whether his life is a vision or not. These things don't matter because according to him, these things can't make him feel less hopeless now. The poet doesn't mention the reason behind his hopelessness. Maybe the reason is as he's leaving his beloved, maybe that is the reason why he's sad and lost his hope. Now let's analyze the last 2 lines of this stanza. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. In these lines, he says that everything that we see or perceive is nothing but a dream within a dream. First, he agrees to the lady in the opening lines, saying that she was right to tell him that his life was a dream, and now he repeats the same thing again. The poet suggests that what seems is not real, and everything is just a fantasy and imagination. A dream is something that is not the reality. But here the speaker is calling everything a dream within a dream, to emphasize the idea that how far the reality is. Now let's talk about the technicalities of the first stanza. The stanza is written in the form of a free verse. because there is no defined meter, although there is a meter, but a proper meter is not there. In some of the verses, iambic tetrameter is being employed. In some of the verses, there's a trimeter. So proper meter is not there, and a strict rhyme scheme is also absent. If there is no rhyme scheme at all, with no meter, it means we are talking about a blank verse. But over here, the stanza lacks a proper meter, but there is a rhyme scheme, but proper pattern is not being followed. So we will say that a strict rhyme scheme is not being followed. So it is in the form of a free verse. As I stated earlier, that proper meter is not being defined in this stanza. Structure, it is obvious that it consists of 9 lines, and tone is pensive, thoughtful, accepting, and serious, with melancholic mood. Setting, although the setting is not clearly defined, but we can say the probable setting could be the death bed of the speaker's beloved. First person point of view is being used in this stanza, and the theme revolves around the ephemeral nature of life and the struggle to hold on to meaningful moments. It also highlights the idea that everything we believe or perceive may ultimately be of the transient nature. Figurative language. Number 1, imperative sentence. The opening line, "Take this kiss upon the brow," is an imperative sentence, giving a direct command to the reader or his beloved. Then we can see anaphora and the repetition in line, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in line number 7 and 8. There is a repetition in at the beginning of 2 successive lines, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none. So it's emphasized the various context, and is an example of an anaphora. Then we can also see a repetition. The word dream has been repeated, and it emphasizes the central theme of the poem. Then personification, hope has flown away, so giving hope the human-like quality of flying away. Then alliteration, grains of the golden sand, g sound is being repeated. Rhetorical question can also be seen, is it therefore the less gone? Symbolism is also there when the poet says, the kiss upon the brow, take the kiss upon the brow. Now the kiss upon the brow symbolizes moments of affection with his beloved. You can also see a pause within a verse in line number 2, and in parting from you now. Yes, it is an example of Sejora. Then there is an enjambment in multiple times it has been observed, like you're not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream, or yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day. So yes, there is an enjambment as well. Then symbolism, I already have told you. Then I'm skipping assonance and consonance. I'm sure you will be able to find out the examples of assonance and consonance by your own. Now you can see some of the questions from stanza number 1, so please note them for your record. Second stanza. I stand amid the roar of surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand, how few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Now the setting has been changed. Now the poet is standing on a shore. He explains the scenario and says that he stands on a shore that is pounded by the surf coming from the ocean. He says that he stands among the roar. He uses the roar as a metaphor to compare it with the loud sound of the water waves. The poet then grasps the golden sand of the shore in his hand. The shore is full of golden sand. The poet manages to grasp a few grains of this golden sand in his hand, but these grains also slip through his fingers and fall down and get mixed in the deep shore or deep ocean, or we can say a chaos, right? Everything beyond his fist is a chaos. The poet cries, seeing all this. He tells us twice about his weeping to lay emphasis. While I weep, while I weep. Maybe he's weeping because he realizes that his reality is slipping away from him, just like the grains of the sand. It frustrates him and he cries. In the next lines, we can see the appeal to God, or we can say appeals to God. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Right? In these lines, the speaker is now appealing to God. As the grains of sand slip through his hand, he asks Almighty whether he can hold the grains more tightly in his hand or not. He further asks whether he is able to save even a single grain from the cruel waves or not. This gives us the idea that how desperate the poet is to save the grains of sand, and he is trying very hard to prove that he is capable of doing it. He tries to prove that everything is real and not his dream or illusion. Then the poet ends his poem and the stanza with the lines, is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream, now with a question mark. uh, these are the same lines as he mentioned above in the earlier stanza. Earlier he just said that everything we see or that seems is just a dream within a dream, but this time the poet is actually asking whether everything that we see or understand and everything that seems is just a dream within a dream or not. After all his weeping and the sand that ran through his fingers, he is not completely ready to accept that all we see is just a dream within a dream and nothing else. Therefore, at the end of the poem, he leaves this question for the readers. Perhaps he is not ready to accept losses in his life and the things that slipped through his fingers, like the sand or his love, we can say. Maybe he thinks none of it was real and all and everything was just his illusion or his dream. This powerful stanza employs a variety of literary devices to convey a sense of despair, helplessness, and fleeting nature of reality. For example, imagery has actively been used in this fragment, this stanza. We can see a visual imagery, examples of tactile imagery, kinesthetic imagery. For example, the phrases and words like surf tormented shore, golden sand, fingers, deep, waves, they create a vivid picture of the beach setting. That is, the examples of visual imagery. If we take a look on the words like hold or creep, grasp, clasp, these words emphasize the speaker's physical interaction with the sand. That is, they are examples of tactile imagery. The word like weep conveys the speaker's emotional state through action. It means the kinesthetic imagery is also there. Metaphor, roar, used in the first stanza is a metaphor. Furthermore, the last two lines is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream. Here, there is a comparison of life to a dream, emphasizing its ephemeral or transient and illusory nature. Pitiless waves or merciless waves imbues the wave with human cruelty, heightening the sense of powerlessness. So this word has been personified. Then we can also see repetition. The word weep has been repeated twice. It emphasizes the speaker's grief and despair. We can also see rhetorical questions like, "O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp?" And, "O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave?" It expresses the speaker's helplessness and desperate pleas or appeals, emphasizing the futility of resisting change. Then several words have been symbolized. For example, sand. It represents or it symbolizes time and the fleeting nature of existence. As the time slips through the speaker's fingers, it mirrors the passing of moments and the inability to hold on to the past. Ocean um, symbolizes both the vastness of the universe and the power of forces beyond our control. The pitiless waves embodies the inevitable, highlighting the limitations of human agency. We can also see irony, the usage of irony in this stanza, specifically dramatic irony. As the reader knows the sand represents time, yet the speaker desperately pleads to save it, creating a tragic awareness of the futility of the attempt. Then anaphora has also been used. Oh God, it is easy. You can find it out. I'm skipping the commonly used figures of speech or the literary devices. Yeah, we can also see synecdoche over here. When the poet says, grains of the golden sand, using part, है ना? Using a part, that is grains, to represent the whole means time. It adds emphasis to the individual moments that are slipping away. Alliteration is there, assonance is there, enjambment is there. I'm sure you will easily point them out. Now pause the video and read all the technicalities like tone, mood, setting, point of view, and theme, and learn them by heart, or take an idea and write by your own. And they're very important, and kindly note them down. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.